board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom.
All right, all right. All right. Well, section 2 of the interview, Russ, I really appreciate you being the first guest on Retail SaaS Board Meeting Wednesdays. It was a fantastic session, so thank you.
Absolutely. Loved every minute of it.
What I like to do here in the second session, as you know, I'm a big goal guy, right? I have an entire construct that we've built called the Power of 27. We've done a great job, I think, over the last year, really integrating it into our business and having everyone participate. And it's wonderful to see everybody hitting their goals. For all of our listeners out there, if you want more information on the Power of 27, you can go to our YouTube channel at Brad Parker, and you'll see a whole section on the Power of 27. But ultimately, what we do is we teach everyone to sit down and have a brainstorming or mindstorming session where you sit down and you write down 27 goals. One thing that I've learned over the years is you don't just want to have 1 or 2 goals because goals are interconnected. And so if you have 27 of them, you really have to dig deep as a person and really try to identify who you're trying to become. And what you'll learn when you do that is you can have goals around health and, let's say, business, and you'll find that as you improve your health, your business also improves. And you're able to compound the effect that you have on checking goals off the list. And the better you get at it, sometimes you're just checking goals off your list on accident. You didn't even have to put any work in because you just arrived at the destination that you're trying to arrive. And then what we do from there is we teach people to take that master list and create 2 new lists that they're going to operate off. One's a 12-week sprint list or a 90-day sprint list, where we identify the things we can do over the next 90 days to move closer to our Power of 27 goals. And then once we've identified our goals for 90 days, we write down our action list. And this is every single thing that we need to do to accomplish our goals for 90 days. And the reason that you want to do that and focus on 90-day sprints is because you need to recalibrate. If you set New Year's resolutions and you're just trying to accomplish the goals for the year, you're going to get distracted. You might feel as if you're failing on a goal and just absolutely quit it. But more importantly, as you're going for your goals, you learn. And so you change. And as you grow, you need to pivot, because now you might realize, like, oh, in order to do this goal, all I need to do is hang a right. And you can hang that right at your 90-day sprint evaluation, and you really keep pushing. And it creates a sense of urgency for you. Every 90 days, you're really trying to check things off the list, and you just become massively more productive. I know since I've put that construct in my life, it's completely changed the way I function. And I've done goals every way to Sunday. I had the whiteboard, I had, the notebook, the Excel document, the Google Drive document. I've used the apps. But coming around to the Power of 27 and having this construct and really stealing everything that I've learned from all the books that I've read, to me, it's a great construct to work under. So what we're going to be doing, guys, in these second interviews, we're going to be working with our guests to find out, obviously, you're a goal-driven person, you're running a business, you're leading a team of people. How do you kind of function on a daily basis to make sure that you're moving towards your goals? So Russ, I know that's kind of a cheat code because obviously you're in the Power of 27 construct and really working on it. But why don't we kind of dive in for you? When you're looking at your goals, how are you setting them? How are you going about just the construct of life and trying to figure out who you're trying to become?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the big things when you sit down and you actually do the Power of 27, it takes a lot of time and a lot of thought. So you're thinking about your personal life, your work life, all your relationships, everything that you want to accomplish, and you just spit everything out on a piece of paper. And then what I did is I organized those into the ones that were my top 27 priority. And I still have this huge list of things, but I'm focusing on 27 different things. So I have my work and my life, and like you mentioned, personal life, and like you mentioned earlier, those are all interconnected. My health, the healthier I am, the more energy I have, the more focus I have, the better I am at work. When I'm working harder and more focused, I'm making more money. I'm able to do things with my family, take trips I want to take. So there's no difference in my mind. And, any of those, they're all the exact same. It's just all the person that I want to become. So I'm operating off of this list that you helped me create. And since I think it's probably 2 years ago when you first introduced this to me, I've checked at least 12 goals off my list. And these aren't just like, go to the gym more. This is like, I want to buy a new truck. I want to make X amount of more money a year. And it really, really big goals, improving relationships with people that I've kind of lost connection with. So it's something that, for me has had one of the biggest impacts on my life. You're able to actually change what you do. And I think a big point that you said earlier is when you set a New Year's goal, if you set 3 goals for the new year, you quit doing those like as soon as you get discouraged, right? Like that could be in 3 months. So when you take the power of 27, you take this big list of goals you have, you now are focusing on all these different goals with your micro task. You know what to do every single day. Um, but if you don't hit one of those, that's okay because you're still showing progress with the other ones, right? You're always moving forward. And the most important thing is to go back and evaluate after 90 days and say, okay, where did I go wrong? What can I do better to hit this goal? This one kind of fell off, but this one increased a lot and I'm doing really well here. So it's the whole construct of it for me is everything that you just said, right? It's your big goals. Okay, well, what are my tasks over the next 90 days to hit these goals? Okay, if I need to do these, I need to break these down into micro tasks that I can do every single day to push my goals in the directions they need to be moving. And if you just do that and then you go back and you measure it, it's impossible to not hit those goals because you're doing exactly what you need to do on a daily basis to hit those.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think one of the unique things that I've learned in that 90-day sprint construct is you can set your plan, right? But sometimes the universe is not ready for you to hit that, right? Or something else comes along and there's this opportunity where you can really crush a goal that maybe it was, you were excited about it, but you thought you were going to do these, but then the next thing you know, you're just focused on this because everything is lined up. And so you didn't get to focus on the other two because you had to take the opportunity to handle this one. And then
Right.
when you get to the end of the 90 days, you're like, oh my God, I completely forgot about these. They're obviously still important, but I've really, really checked this one off my list, or I'm really close. Now, can I put more focus in the next 90 days on these? Where if I was just waiting till the next new year, like the other two, they're gone, right? Like you're not even going to think about them. You probably even forgot you set the goal, right? Because I've done that. I've rolled up at the end of a 90-day sprint, looking at it 2 weeks. And I try to again, like have a real strong 2 weeks to finish. Man, I've rolled up before and been like, oh no, like
Yeah.
I didn't think about any of my goals. Now that doesn't mean I wasn't really laser focusing on one.
Right.
Um, and I think too, like, for me, seasons have a big play with it. I am way more motivated in the spring and the summer than I am in the winter. So, I might have a much more aggressive list when I have a longer day, where in the winter I get a little bit more laser focused and just try to focus on a couple of things so I don't get discouraged and I make sure that I'm crushing.
Yeah. No, I
So
totally agree there.
so you mentioned writing them all down and so today, the way you're functioning, are you still doing it all on paper or are you using an app or any technology to help you? Like what's the actual construct you use to move through it?
Yeah, so I'm kind of a hybrid approach. Mostly it's on my phone with the task list that I've created in there. And then I move that over to my calendar, right? Like when I'm going through, seeing what my goals are, what I need to do for the week. And that's going to be broken down on my calendar. I'm going to set meetings or tasks according to, let's say I want to close 5 deals this month, right? Like, what do I need to do that? That's a cool goal. That's awesome. Let's close those 5 deals, but who do I need to talk to? Where do
Mhm.
I need to focus my attention? And you break that down on your calendar. So it's really everything that you can do on your phone. You don't really need much more. If it was in an app and I could see all 27 goals and have that attached to my calendar, maybe that's something we need to work on. That would be amazing. But I'm using the task list in my phone and then moving everything over to my calendar. So I see my goal and I have my micro action each day.
So when you say task list on your phone, are you using like notes or something? Like what's the app?
No, it is just the reminders app on
Okay,
Apple.
reminders. Okay, yeah. So I use the
Yeah.
same app. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the reminders app because you can create your Power of 27 list, your 12-week sprint list, and your action list all in the
Yeah.
same ecosystem. And you can drag them and drop them. You can move them around into other lists. I've tried other constructs and like not being able to drag and drop for the day because I plan out every single day and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do these 5 things. And as long as I get these 5 things done, I crushed it because I've moved closer to my 12-week goals, which brings me closer to my Power 27. And you mentioned earlier, like focusing on your calendar, time blocking is essential. When you
Yeah.
like when you look at the day and you start to put in your work hours, your sleep hours, your eat hours, your spend time with family hours, you're working out, like you start to time block it, you realize you're like, okay, I don't really have any more time in the day. Or if you do, it's like these little tiny windows of time that it's like all you have left for you. So you've either got to get up earlier in the morning and have some alone time, or you got to stay up later, or you have to be organized. Like I used to just let people book time on my calendar anytime. And then I realized I'm like this little Plinko board on my calendar where I'm just like, no. So I constructed it and say, I'll meet with people during these times. And then I'm going to make sure that I have this time to do things on my task list. And then I have this time to do things for personal. So I've gotten, I mean, almost like a savant when it comes to organizing my calendar, and then all I have to do is wake up, look at my calendar, go to the time block and know, oh, it's task work. And then I go to my reminders list and it tells me the 5 tasks that I'm going to do to move closer to becoming, the Power of 27. So it's just, I don't have to think,
Yep.
right? And
Exactly.
the better you can get at that as a person, because if you don't have a construct, someone will steal your time. And there's a lot of companies out there that make a lot of money to steal our attention. You got Netflix and you got Facebook and you got TikTok and you got, I mean, that's how they get paid. We got to get these guys to spend their time with us. And usually that is not time that is going to help you reach your goals. I'm not
Right.
saying you can't use it. Right, and I'm not saying that you don't need to disconnect as well, right? Because I like to disconnect but I like to time block that, and at the end of the day, after I've become the person I'm working towards, well, then I can take a break. But if I didn't get my stuff done, I'm gonna think twice before I go, scroll on TikTok for an hour, if I need to just check one more goal off the list, right?
Yeah. And I think
So
something you said is huge. Like it can just be 5 tasks in a day. You don't need to conquer the world in one day.
right,
Right. But you're tracking that these are the 5 most important things I can do today. I did. And you go to bed and you sleep like a baby
right.
after you do that. Right.
That was a huge thing for me because I used to work off of one list.
Yeah.
And if you do a to-do list or an action list correctly, it never ends. But there's this like feeling that you should be able to finish it,
Yeah.
but you can't ever finish it because all of these things keep getting added to the list. And so I had this list that had 100 tasks on it. So I never felt like I could go to sleep and be like, I crushed the day. And
Yep.
so as soon as I started to organize that list into today's actions, right? And then I have this week's actions, and I'm always looking at my calendar and saying, I have 2 hours tomorrow. I'm going to do these 2 tasks. And then if I do them, I even have a little note in there that says, congratulations, you crushed it. So I can tell myself internally, you're allowed to go turn off for the day. You decided what you're going to do. And I think even more importantly, guys, like sometimes you just have days you don't have any time. The day is full. You are committed. And if you have a to-do list that is hanging over you and that you don't get to work on that day because you're busy, you can feel like you're not getting anything accomplished. And so when I look at my calendar, if I'm full, I don't put any tasks for the day. And it says,
Right.
congratulations, you're already done. So now I have no anxiety moving into the day. I know that I'm done. I'm not focusing on anything else. So as I go through my meetings or, my appointments, what I'm doing, I can be 100% present because I've decided that this is what's important for me today.
That's
Right.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being able to be present on those things because hey, I don't need to focus on my task list today. This is what I have in front of me and I'm here.
And it's important. And
So important.
I mean, when people are multitasking, right? They're at
Oh
the
yeah.
meeting, but they're over here working because they're trying to get their task list done. Well, why are you at the meeting?
Right.
You got to do one or the other, And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm still guilty. I'll still be trying to do some side
Same.
emails, but you got to learn if you put that time on your calendar as a person, you did it for a reason. And if you feel like you shouldn't be there and you got something else that you can be doing, you shouldn't waste everybody's time, right? And so you really start to look at your time like that, because I had a lot of reoccurring meetings and I was like, I don't need to be at these, like I can just get the update at the weekly meeting. And so, because I was showing up to people's meetings, not paying attention. And that was, I think, more disruptive than being, supportive. So,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think something you said too earlier about you don't have to make a decision. You just wake up and this is what you're doing. It's already on your calendar. I mean, you only have so much bandwidth to make decisions throughout a day. And I know for you, like you're probably thrown a million things that you have to make a decision on every single day. So if you just limit that, you take one, two, three decisions that you have to make. You just know, hey, this is already done. This is what I'm doing. That it's beautiful. Like Steve Jobs wore the same thing every single day for a reason because he didn't want to have to make that decision, you know?
it's a smart play. I've really kind of gotten down to 3 shirts. I do like to
Yeah.
rotate the color, I
Yeah.
rotate the hats, but it's the
Yeah.
same uniform. It is a much easier way to focus. Eliminate the things that you have to make decisions on in the day, be present for the things that you need to do. And it really is life-changing. I think one of the cool things about having a list that you work off too, because look, anytime you're trying to change who you are, you have to change a habit because you are your habits. And there's a reason you have those habits. There's a level of comfortability that you like, and you have fallen into that habit. And to change that habit, it is nearly impossible. It is so hard to change habits. And so you got to have this construct where you know what's exciting you, right? And if you go to work your list and nothing is exciting, then there's probably something wrong with your Power of 27 list. So you might have thought these were your goals, but you don't want to do the actions to do them.
Right.
Like if you consistently don't want to show up, right? You're just like, man, this is like you just have the wrong list. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can set a goal and think that you want to do something, and then you can go put in some reps and realize you were wrong.
Right.
Right?
I
There's
think 90 days is a perfect window for that to put the reps in and see. You don't,
it's
give it a
100
fair shot.
90-day sprint, put my work in, commit to it. Anyone can do anything for 90 days. Right. I've done some crazy stuff on sprints. Like I've gone 90 days with no TV, right? Or 90 days with no social media at all, because I was trying to eliminate the time sucks so then I could focus on my health and make sure that I was showing up to the gym every day. Right. And so you can really push hard for 90 days and then evaluate and make a decision, and say, I just don't like this. And there's no reason to do something that you do not like. You can just check it off the list, come up with a new goal and move on. And then you're not quitting, right? Your resolution, right? You're making a
Right.
decision that this just isn't for me. Like, and none of us have any idea what we want to do. Like, we just have
Right.
to write down the goal, go attack it, see if we like it. And then, but also got to understand, like, I want to be an 80s golfer on a consistent basis. And so I got a golf simulator. And so right now in my 90-day sprint, I got to go down and hit balls for an hour a day.
I see it on your calendar,
Right.
it's there.
And I'm going down and I'm hitting. And I'm telling you what, it is not making me like golf anymore. I am like, why am I so bad? Like I can't hit the ball 2 times in a row in the same direction to save my life. Yeah. And I'm like, this makes no sense. Now, when I hit the ball good, man, it's just like being out on the golf course. And I'm like, this is why I'm here. I just need to figure out how to get to that shot on a more frequent basis. Because I'll be down there just getting frustrated. Now, that frustration could be something, right, that would kick me off of my path and not want to hit the goal. But deep down me, the reason why I want to do it is I love to travel. I love to be outside. I love to hang out with people that are interested in business and like to do things that are hard. There's no question that golf is hard. Like you ain't going to run up on anyone that says, yeah, it's easy. Like even
Yeah.
it's like nearly impossible to be good at this game. So to get good at it, for me, it has to be a path of my life. And then I know as I travel the world, there's great golf courses everywhere, right? And so it's going to be worth it. I know the reason why. That's why it's on my Power of 27 list. So I'm going to get through the endless hours of just painful agony of not being able to hit a ball straight to save my life to figure it out. So, all right, cool. Well, let's you got your 90-day sprint. What do you do personally? Are you doing like I do the season, December, January, February, because that's the winter, go March, April, May, spring, June, July, August. Do you do yours the same way, or are you doing
Yeah,
it in the work quarter sprints or
I would operate in our work quarter sprints. So the way that we operate as a company, that just keep everything aligned because it's just easier that way for me.
yeah, everybody out there that's listening, we operate our quarterly system as a business and in the seasons as well. So we go December, January, February, where so most people are ending their quarter in January or in December. Sorry, we're starting ours in December. So if we need to execute and wrap up our year strong, we've always got 30 more days to kind of get in there and crush it. And then it's based on the seasons personally, because in my opinion, you can work on certain things in the winter that you can't work on in the summer. And so you can really plan your sprints to get out there and crush it. So what do you got going on in this 90-day sprint? Give me 2 or 3 goals that you're working on right now.
Yeah, big one for me right now is just around fitness and mental health, right? So our company, you guys gave us this gratitude journal. So one of my goals is to just be more grateful and appreciate the little things in life. So the way I do that is, make sure that I'm utilizing my gratitude journal every single day.
Okay.
So I go through in the morning and I carve out 30 minutes before anybody's up. Well, that's not true. I have a toddler. She's awake at 4:30, but before the world hits me, I can sit down and I can think about just all the little things in life that you can be grateful for. And what I noticed, it's kind of a tangent, but what I noticed there is just there's so much to be grateful for when, you have to put out a fire, something in life comes and smacks you. You can always just revert back to, hey, the sun's out today. So being grateful, getting in the gym, I think that's a big one for everybody, especially with the new year coming around. But I have a personal weight goal that I'm trying to hit, and so I got to eat more, right? I got to focus on my macros and my calories, and I got to focus on different exercises. And they're not fun. Like I don't want to go do squats 2 times a week at all, but I do.
Not at all.
So, and then the last one, non-work. Well, again, they all tie together. Non-work related, but it kind of is just reading more and not listening to as much, but actually reading books. So I'm going back and I'm rereading a couple of books. I have on my list to reread a couple of books that I think are going to be very impactful for me.
What you got? What are the
The
books?
Code of the Extraordinary Mind is the one I'm reading right now,
Okay.
Vishen Lakhiani, and that kind of ties into mental health and being able to achieve things. So that's like through meditation or through being present and thoughtful. But that's a book that I'm rereading right now.
Nice. So let me know how that goes. I was actually talking to the team yesterday, and I'm gonna plan my books for the year because I fall off on reading from time to
Yeah,
time. I get real good, and then I'm like, I just get busy.
yeah,
I want to time block a little 30-minute block, knowing that at least if I can get 15 minutes in every single day, I'm going to pick my 12 books for the year. So guaranteed 1 book a month, stack them up, have them on my desk, just screaming at me to make sure that I get through them. I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to become an 80s golfer on a consistent basis. So I've got the hour time block in the middle of the afternoon. So for me, I'm doing that at like basically 12:30 to 1:30 when I do lunch. I go down and hit balls. So I get outside every day because it's the winter,
yeah,
because it's dark when I get up and I start work. It's dark when I stop working. So it's just like there is no golf outside of the work ecosystem. So in the winter, I'm on golf simulator for the hour. And then when the sun comes back, I'll be at the golf course in the morning, or I'll finish the day at the golf course, right? So you can pivot that structure inside of the seasons.
exactly.
And then I'm trying
I
to
think,
focus on flexibility as well. Like we got the flexing, the stretching every day at Form Piper, 30 minutes a day. Even though it's on the calendar, I would find myself like, oh, well, I need to do this or I need to do that. And it's like, no, it's on your
yeah,
calendar. And so what I did this year is I tested Dragon and said, I'm going to have a better attendance record than Katie. So now it's a competition. And so even when I'm traveling, right? Like I'll be out in California in a couple weeks, so I'll be a couple hours, 3 hours behind. Well, stretching's at 9:30. Well, I'm just gonna get up at 6:30 and get the stretch in. Where normally I would use the travel as an excuse not to do
that's
it.
what I've done.
Right? It doesn't
It
make any
just
sense.
doesn't make any sense. And
Makes
then now
no
I'm
sense.
stretching on my own without a guided person that knows what they're doing.
Or not stretching, right? Because you just
Yeah.
stick it all together. And like the best time to actually stretch is when you're flying in an airplane and sleeping in a hotel room that you're not used to doing it. We go out for 3 or 4 days on these missions, and then we get back and we're just, I mean, I'm falling apart. I'm 46 over here, like trying to work out. Everything hurts, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just like all I got to do is stretch. So for all of you out there, no matter how old you are, you need to start stretching, okay? Eventually your body will give up on you. No matter how good
Yes.
you think you are, stretch.
I might have to move that one up in priority because I need to get back at it.
I don't see how I'm not flexible anyway. And so for golf, it's a problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like you need to be, you know, flexible and be able to move. So I'll get off the golf course after playing around and feel like I got just beat up, you know, and
Yeah.
that's not supposed to be the case, right? You should be able to just keep playing, you know? So
Yeah.
that's because I'm trying to hit the ball, not swing through the ball, but I'm working on it, you know, every hour. So, all right, awesome. Well, I think this has been fantastic. Russ, as always, it's great, you know, connecting. We pretty much talk every day, you know, but in this format, it's very, very unique. Very excited for what we're putting together at Form Piper and Board Meeting Wednesdays and the podcast. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're going to be out traveling at trade shows all throughout the year. We're going to make all kinds of opportunities to sit down with top business people all across the country and talk to them about their businesses. And more importantly, talk to them about how they think about goal setting. And I think that's going to help all of us grow. So appreciate you coming on and, you know, kicking off the series.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you later today at work.
Board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom.